For this next exercise, we're going to explore text animators. It's a line in each layer of text where you have endless options. We're going to explore a few of them just to get you started. So this is what I'd like you to do for the exercise. This is a position text animator put into the text animation line. In addition, I used opacity and position on the entire layer to create a secondary animation effect. So to start the next exercise, I'm going to make a new composition. I'm going to call this one Text Animators. Make this 1280 by 720. And 7 seconds is also fine. All right, so I get like a 16:9 aspect ratio again. And it's still an HD setting, although it's a little smaller than the full 1920 by 1080. But decent for online 16:9 presentations. And in this one, I'm going to, first of all, look at my downloaded or my linked font here. So if I go into my list here, you can see that I have Mostra Nuova in there, which is really cool. So that's the power of just automatically activating fonts in Adobe Fonts, and they come right over, and it comes into your typeface character menu here. So let's make a new text layer. I'll just click anywhere in here, and I'm going to type in, select it all, make sure that it's visible. So anim. Okay, and let's see if I can do select it all. I'm going to make sure that in the paragraph it's centered, good. And then in my align menu, bring that up again. Bring up my align menu here. And I'm just going to center this. So now it's nicely in the center. And I'm going to do something where if I click on this, I'll make it a little larger so it's 2 lines. So let's go 250. Maybe not that big. 200? Yes. So I get, maybe it's this one. Just so I can fit it onto 2 lines here. All right, so now I get this kind of thing. And then in my align menu, let's now center it so it's in the center. So I've used the align menu, and so now I get a 2-line animation. So I'm going to explore something within this text layer that we can use all the time to bring a kind of dynamic animation on to your and off to your texts. So if I go in here and I look at text, I actually get an animate menu here when I have a text layer, and I can actually do a couple of different things. So all of these characters here now can be animated, right? I'm going to click position because it's a great one to start with, right? And by default, what happens here is that you get little X's, meaning you can, on each character, so meaning you can animate each character individually, right? So if I, in the range selector here in the animator, if I drop the position, you can see that the whole thing is being affected. But let's get into this a little deeper. So if I click on animator here, and I'm going to click on this and control click on it and rename it position 1. If I look right in here in this range selector, you can see that, I'll just make this bigger so you can see all of my options here. In position 1, I have a range selector, right? So I can select which portion of the text is affected by my, so if I go to 50%, and then change the position, you can see that only half of it, right, up to that point is affected, right? So I can do something with individual characters and combined with an overall effect on the layer. This can be quite effective. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'm actually going to go into the advanced menu here, and you can see it's percentage and characters, right? You can change this to index, which then is, I have 22 characters. I can affect all of this just by the last, say the last 3, right? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to say start and end, or be 18 to 22. And I'm going to control this on the offset, right? So what do I mean by that? Let's go here and move it into half a second mark. I'll click offset, and I only have 4 character difference here, right? Because I've got the space at the end. So I've got my keyframe at the half second mark, 15 frames. And I'm just going to animate those last 4 characters, or the last 4 characters include those little spaces, right? And you can eliminate that, but for now, I'll leave it as is. So I'm going to advance to the full second mark and click 4. So now it moves across it, right? But I don't have any position marks on it. So let's do that. Let's go down to where it says position. And I'm going to animate that on screen. So now it does something like that. So it kind of bullets on, which is kind of fun, right? Now, we could do something here. Like, it looks a little robotic, so let's just do something. I mean, that's pretty fun, right? But let's do something else so that this is a little bit more dynamic. So if you look in this index and characters, you have different modes. Let's look at the shape. So the square shape will give you the very kind of robotic, one letter at a time appears on. But if you go, say, ramp up, you get this kind of thing. So it kind of slides in, right? So let's preview that. That's a little better, right? It kind of slides in, which is kind of nice, right? And then what I'll do here is, in the ease high, I'm going to actually select 100%. So now that this thing kind of sticks in, right? And maybe we'll actually make the position a little lower so that it's a little more dramatic coming from off screen. Let's actually make ease in and ease high and ease low 50 and 50 so that it's equal amount of ramping in and ramping off. Nice. So this is the kind of effect you get. Kind of a soft in, soft out. And again, I can actually make those easy ease to make it even better. More smooth. Just nice, right? Now, this looks kind of static for now, right? But if I combine this with, say, layer line animation, so we'll get out of the text and go into the actual layer line here, I can do something overall with the entrance effect, right? So I can have this opacity, so I can have it come on in 5 frames, making 2 keyframes. So 0 at the beginning, kind of comes on, right? And then maybe do something with position as well. So now I've got 2 position from the bottom up, right? We do 10. And I'm going to adjust my keyframes based on what I'm trying to do here. So let's go lower here. Whoops. Make sure it's on the right one. So I get, okay, so I've got to adjust these keyframes, but I've got a basic outline of animation here. So I'm going to press U on my keyboard just to get all the keyframes. I will make them all easy ease. And I'm going to move these over top. So like any kind of secondary animation, you want these things to kind of occur not exactly on line with each other, right? So they're kind of all occurring. So let's just see my entrance effect now. That looks pretty good, right? So now you get opacity, position on on the entire layer coming in, and then you get that last little strip of text, the fun, being animated individually. So this is the power of combining the different ways to animate text.